Hi guys, so here Rory here, co-founder of Sublime Trading, here with the daily update for the UK and US indices from Monday, the 22nd of June. Alright guys, hope you're well, hope you had a lovely weekend. So back into the markets, starting with the US market. So very little to report on from last week. Price was stuck in a weekly range. Friday we saw price close within that range, so ultimately we're still waiting for a breakout, and as the overall trend is bullish, and it has been bullish since March, we are looking for a breakout to the upside. We always want to go in the direction of the trend, so our stance hasn't changed. However, if you look at some of the stocks from Friday, plenty of stocks creating new all-time highs. So what does that say? It says to always focus on stocks that are performing better than the average, which the indices are, rather than focusing on the indices themselves. What we want is to use the indices as guidance for overall market conditions, and then we want to be looking at the best performing stocks to invest in. On the FTSE 100 as well, not much change. Price still inside a weekly range. We still want to see the high of June cleared to confirm a continuation, but also some strong UK stocks running in our portfolio. So overall our stance is still bullish. We're still waiting for breakouts. Looking at the S&P 500 mini, what we're seeing is pre-market, a little bit of bullishness, pre-market action, but as always that means very little. It's always the end of day candlestick that gives us the most information. So let's see how today ends on the S&P 500 in particular, which is really our primary indication of market conditions. Of course, whatever happens on the S&P 500, the Nasdaq and the Dow Jones are sure to follow as well. So as always, we'll wait until the end of the day to get an idea of how the S&P 500 is going to close, as well as the FTSE 100 is going to close, to get a much better idea of what we could expect throughout the rest of the week. So have a great day guys, and let's get into the charts.
So guys, if you're new to these daily updates, then I recommend starting with the recording that's pinned to the top of our Facebook page to get a good understanding of what I go through in these charts. So as always, this is our 3-screen setup. We have the monthly in the top left, weekly in the top right, and our daily chart down here across the bottom. Starting with the S&P 500, still waiting for the month of June to break through the high of last year, which is currently acting as resistance. If that's cleared, then we're likely to see strength towards the current all-time high. On the weekly, price above the 200 moving average and above the 50 simple moving average. We had a bullish week last week. We want to see that momentum continue and close above the current high of June. We can see that in more detail on the daily time frame. Price above the 200 moving average, the 3000 round number, the 50 simple moving average, and we can see it's finding support at the 20 simple moving average. Overall though, we can see prices inside this range. We want to see price break above the high of June, as the current trend in play is bullish. Remember, the trend is your friend, and that's the direction you always want to go in. So patience needed until price breaks out of this area of consolidation, and ideally with a breakout to the upside. We'll see a similar setup on the Nasdaq. On the monthly time frame, we can see that June is bullish and it's already creating all-time highs, and it's trading above that 10,000 round number. On the weekly time frame, price above the 250 simple moving average, strong trend in play. And on the daily time frame, we can see price above all 3 moving averages, a good trend in play. We want to see the high of June now cleared to suggest further strength to the upside. On the Dow Jones, if we start with the monthly time frame, we can see that June is still inside the annual levels of last year. We want to see that momentum take price towards the high of last year, and then strength towards the current all-time high. On the weekly, price is above the 200, but we can see it's finding resistance at the 50 simple moving average. And on the daily time frame, we can see that price is inside that same area of consolidation that the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 are. It's just that it's trading below the 200 simple moving average. Dow Jones is slightly lagging behind compared to the other 2 indices. Ultimately though, same sort of scenario, waiting for a breakout above the high of June to suggest further strength. Looking at the S&P 500 mini, we can see that the start of the week, start on Monday, price is finding support at the 200 moving average. We are seeing bullishness. Ultimately, what we want to see is that bullishness continue at the open of the market today. But until price actually breaks and closes above the high of June, really the market's just inside an area of consolidation. But remember, as always, there are stocks that are performing better than the average, and that's where you want to be focusing. You don't want to be trading or investing in the indices. You want to be investing in stocks that are doing better than the indices. And the next chart we will look at is the FTSE 100, starting with the monthly. Again, we can see June is bullish, but those key areas of resistance still holding strong. We want to see these levels hold cleared and then strength towards the high of last year. On the weekly, price is still below the 200 and the 50 simple moving average. Come down to the daily, we can see price finding support at the 20 simple moving average. It's above the 50 and the 6,000 round number, that's the 50 simple moving average, but currently below the 200 moving average. Same scenario as on the US indices. Market inside this area of consolidation. We want to see a breakout above the high of June and then strength towards the 200 simple moving average. We want to see this area cleared and then strength to the upside. So overall, still waiting for breakouts on the indices, but stocks are still performing very, very well, and that's really where you want to be focusing on. So that's me for today, guys. Please like, comment and share. Let's get people understanding how to use the indices correctly, and I will be back tomorrow with the next daily update.